Hey, what's happening, gang? Welcome to ITG. I'm Talking Games by Brent Bro, your wonderful host from the gaming blog walloftext.info, and I'm going to show you some more Champions Online today, a little bit about costumes and builds, and specifically how you can tie those together. So I'm in Canada on my character Bonesaw here, and I'm going to jump right in and click on the tailor and jump into the character creator, and you can see three available slots that I have, one from hitting a certain level and one from getting in a supergroup, and I'm going to pick the second slot and I'm going to jump through a couple of these sliders and get in and start tweaking things about my character. Now you can change anything about a character that you want, from the height to the skin tone to, I mean, it's basically, you can recreate a whole different character if you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of speed through the video here. I'm going to crunch it down for you and show you how I'm going to make the default version, which is the version I made at character creation when I actually made the character, and then kind of the more kind of quote-unquote normal form, and you can, this opens up a world of possibilities for you, especially if you're into something like role-playing, which I'm really not, but I did get into my character a little bit and got in a little bit invested, and what I wound up doing was I made Jim McGraw, who is the Matrix look-alike kind of tough guy biker with a leather coat and pants character you see on your screen right now. And by the way, when you make a second or third build, you can actually assign them names. And then when you switch to those builds, it'll say that you've switched to the whatever name this is build. When you later tie this to a build. But this naming comes up later when you actually select the costume as well. So you can see I've filled two costume slots now. One with the one I made at creation, and one that I've just made now. And the next thing I'm going to do is jump back into the game out of the character creation from the tailor basically, and open up. What I will do is jump into my builds window and show you guys a little bit about that. Now, I mentioned earlier you can take a costume once you've made it and then assign it to a build. So I think I have mine bound to Shift B. I think the default is B, depending on which keyboard bindings you've picked when you got into the game. But you can open up the build window and you can see that I've got 4 different builds, and you unlock those periodically throughout the different points of the game. And I think they're the Avenger, which is the DPS, the really glass cannon type build. The Protection, which is the tankish, high hit points, survivability build, the Guardian, which is balanced, and then the Sentinel, which is for buffing and healing. And I have all 4 of those unlocked, and you can see those at the top of the very top of the builds window there. Now those should correspond directly to the 4 tabs you see at my character's feet, which are basically on top of the hotkeys. And once you actually tie a costume to a build, that little preview picture in the top right of the builds window will actually change to reflect that costume. As you can see, I right-clicked on my character portrait, and now the build I'm in, I'm going to set what costume I want to be in when I'm in that build. And you see it also swaps out. Part of the build manager is it'll swap out your items in your inventory. So not only could you change your costume when you change builds, but you also can change the items you have equipped, and in effect change your gear out. So that, for example, for a tank, I could swap on a set of presence gear that would really buff my presence stat, and that would allow me to theoretically generate more threat as I'm trying to tank monsters or bosses in the world. Should that be necessary? That's a different story. Or to swap out extra stamina should I be wanting to go and try to survive in PvP a little bit longer, or to swap in extra dexterity for crit, or whatever the stat is. You can hoard different pieces of gear, and then when you switch to that build, you can put that gear you can equip that gear, and then it'll automatically you'll see it reflected in your build editor, and then you can tie a costume to it. So I can right click and say set costume from my portrait, which I just did, change to, for example, for this this next build, change to my Jim McGraw costume. And now not only am I changing at the click of a button or the click of a keybind, I can switch to this kind of alternate costume, switch all the gear that I have associated with this character, and which kind of works in coordination with the different builds you have. So now that I've done that, I'll jump back into the tailor and tweak my Bonesaw costume a little more. Because as long as you have the funds, which it's a few silver to tweak your costume, and I have a little clipping on the back of his where his skin is poking through his jacket there that I'm gonna tweak with the builder and change. And when I finally finish, I'll be able to change back into Bonesaw from Jim McGraw, and you can do that as soon as the cooldown allows you to do that. You do have a cooldown between your builds, so that you can't just do them automatically. But there you go. I'm now Bonesaw. Hell yeah!
Yeah!
Alright, enough of that. Enough cutting up and nonsense and all that stuff. But anyway, that's a little bit about costumes and builds, how you can tie them together and swap out gear and do all of that with the click of a button. So that's builds and costumes and Champions Online. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you next time. I'm out.